welcome her back home. Of course, Miss Happy Monday. Today she shares with us the progress of her efforts with the girls of Nari Gunjan and the STEM program she's creating for students through Aavishkaar. Aavishkaar means invention, and Nari Gunjan means empowered voices of women. Sandhya's presentation will inform us how those two concepts are being woven together to create a new way of learning and teaching with a special emphasis on empowering girls to embrace education. Please put your hands together for Sandhya. Thank you.
So, it's been 10 years that I have been coming back. My daughter Shamli was 5.5 when we left. Now she is a 16-year-old. Many things have happened. Every year I have been coming back and telling you all about it. But this year, things have just exploded. I have been just running around a lot. Even people at the flight know me now. In my little airport where I live, you know that I live in a small town in the foothill of Himalayas, where there are 2 flights a day. This past year, my flight was at 4:30. I reached at 4:10 and they let me in because they had already done all the check-in. I had told them the baggage and everything. So this is how frequent flyer I have become. So what you see there in the picture is about 10 years ago when I moved to the town. There was the festival of Holi where in my small village, those manually operated merry-go-round and this boat thing that somebody operates manually. And kids sit in there and it goes from one side to the other. And somewhere there Shamli is sitting. So I moved to this village, our family moved to this village. We started spending our time at the local primary school, government school. And when I say government school in India, just a reminder to you, that means those families send their children to the government school who cannot afford a private education, so mostly labor community. So I started spending my time, me and my husband started spending our time in this government school, started working with kids. We did that for 4.5 years and learned a lot about the challenges of the Indian education system and the lack of access to quality education. And then we founded Aavishkaar in 2014, February. So what we had learned, the lack of this access meant, and actually I would not even say government school versus private school. As I have traveled across the country, I would say this is a problem, countrywide problem. I see it here also, unfortunately. Memorization is equal to learning. Big problem. There is no room for conceptual understanding, which we are trying to create. And the fear of mathematics sets in very early on. Our kids, as well as adults, many of you are sitting in this room, love to say that I hate math, I don't like it, not saying that I didn't understand it. So, and India is no different, probably worse. So we see that a lot. There is no room for scientific investigation. And the most important of all, our teachers are not equipped to teach in this way. It's very easy to take a stick or shout at the child that you did not get it. And those who don't have access, this becomes a bigger challenge. And when we started the organization, we already had the girls of Nari Gunjan, where we were working, we, all of us, through our support, were working with this community. And when we founded the organization, this is where we put in most of our effort in the first few years. And literally to tell you, we as Aavishkaar learned a lot from these girls and the school that we were working in. We learned how kids like to learn. We learned how important cultural context is. We learned how important is it to teach in the language that they speak at home. So we learned a lot from these kids. Through your support, we at Aavishkaar were getting them for a residential camp, 4 different groups every year, and we did that for 3 years. And at the same time, we kept working in the government schools and kept learning, continuously learning, to figure out what is it that we can do to create change. 2 important things that we learned: that we have to show that we believe in our kids. It's very easy to say, but difficult to implement. Our body language, if a kid does not understand, our body language tells them that you don't believe in me. And that is a very important thing that we realized that we have to change. And we realized, again, if you can work with a small set of kids, like 20 kids, 100 kids, 200 kids, but what would happen to rest of them? What is it that we can do that we can increase our reach? And the key was, and still is, how can we change the teacher mindset? What are the tools that we can provide to our teachers that they can create this change? What is it that we can do to develop a joyful relationship with mathematics and science? There needs to be a joyful relationship with learning itself, but what we are passionate about, and we know other things we don't know. We know math and science, so that's why we work in this field. So what is it that we can do to create this joyful relationship? So every year I have been giving you a report. So Aavishkaar has been there for 5 years now. So what all happened in this? What all happened? Where do we stand now after all 5 years? Our partnership communities have just exploded, literally exploded. At Nari Gunjan, we keep working through our fellowship program. The girls come to us. We almost, I would say, every other month, there is a team from Aavishkaar residing at Nari Gunjan, working with the 100 girls. Thank you, Rotary, for giving us this opportunity to expand this program and get it here. Then another community that joined us this last year is the Tibetan community. Tibetan community, the community of refugees who, when they were exiled from Tibet to India, they came and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he lives about an hour from where we are. And there are many Tibetan communities who live around us, and they run their own Tibetan government in exile, and there are schools. So there are about 7 schools there, and we are working with all the teachers of science and math in these 7 schools and training them regularly and going to their schools, Aavishkaar team going to their schools and working with them. And we are at a stage now that there are about 70 schools, Tibetan government schools in India, where now they want us to work in all those schools. So that would be the next step. Then government schools of Himachal. We are already working in 8 schools on an everyday basis. And there are many training programs. I mean, this past year we trained about 200 teachers of government of Himachal. Then we are also working with, because we were already working with Dalit communities of Nari Gunjan, government of Telangana heard about us, and they have a special tribal welfare department. and social welfare, where they have 250 residential schools each. So we selected the master teacher trainers, and we trained about 120 teachers. So on a year-long basis. So like 4 times a year, 3-4 days at least every visit. So I've been traveling a lot. Then government school of Assam, and that is again a Rotary project through which we are doing it in collaboration with South Minneapolis Rotary. So we are going to Assam every few months, conducting programs for students as well as teachers. So 2 things we have to do. We have to create the shift in mindset for the teachers and nurture some student leaders in the classroom who can help students in their peer learning and show what does change look like. And last but not the least, Teach for India government schools. Teach for India has about 1,100 teachers, and we are working with them in three cities, Delhi, Chennai, and Hyderabad. So I had never thought I would be here, but I'm very happy. And these are all government schools. So that means all communities who don't have access to wealth, that means access to quality education also. So in this past 5 years, we have reached out to 16,000 students, 1,300 teachers, 400 educators. But these are numbers. I would like you to tell you the story behind these numbers. Again, the yellow dots that you see is where we have had schools visit us at Aavishkaar for training, and green are the ones where Aavishkaar has gone and given trainings. So how do Aavishkaar students look like? We know our Nari Gunjan students. They were recently here for us, with us for a camp. The person you see here is Shobhi. She is a 9th grader now. She would be giving her board exams next year. Another one who used to hate mathematics and through 4 years of the program has fallen in love with it. Another thing that has happened, because we have been working with Nari Gunjan and then we have been working with Himachal schools, we are able to bring these 2 communities together. So some kids who are sitting here and this side are kids from Himachal, and then the girls are sitting here are Nari Gunjan girls from Bihar. So they are actually at our camps, they are getting to meet each other. They are learning Himachali songs and they are giving songs from Bihar to these kids. They are learning about each other's cultures, not only just science and math. We also work with young nuns, young Buddhist nuns, who so far have been only studying Tibetan scriptures, but through us, they learn about reason and logic. So this is how a math class for a Tibetan nun looks like. This is our government school. There is a science and math fair going on. And we have, through this program, we have almost 500 students per year. Again, this is a typical class that looks like. This is Aavishkaar traveling to Assam. The girl that you see here, she started working with us a few years ago. She got so hooked on education, I would say, that now she is going to do a master's, and she has been, I would say her work at Aavishkaar has been appreciated a lot. And now she is going to University of Vilnius to do a master's in education on full scholarship. So wonderful for her. We are also working in primary schools and developing primary math curriculum. So here is another school. And because here we have been working since kindergarten, so there is a boy here, his name is Kasim. Earlier he used to not like sitting in a class. He would just run around a lot. But what we have done is we have developed math, and they're learning math through games. We continuously keep working on developing games. And these kids work on mathematics through games. And actually, the person you see there is Shamli, who teaches them and helps them develop this curriculum. So the moment she enters the class, one kid somebody was teaching them mathematics, your regular mathematics. So the moment she entered, everybody was, oh, we don't have to do math now. Shamli Didi is here. We will play games. Not realizing that they would be doing all the more intensive math. So this is what we have seen a lot is kids when they come from primary school to middle school, there is a huge gap in mathematics, and mathematics comes to another level. So what happens that they start failing. So we have developed what we call a bridge camp, and I'll tell you about this girl in classes, Himani. So this is like a week-long bridge camp where they do various concepts of mathematics whole day. When we started, the girls were in one corner, the boys were in the other. They were not mixing at all. And the girls were not speaking, and boys, you couldn't keep quiet. But by the end of this program of 1 week, this girl, I mean, sometimes kids go a notch up, but she went several notches up. At the end of this, we do like a math fair, and this girl was playing games with 9th graders and beating them hollow. Just in 1 week, I was not expecting this change. And the way her personality opened up, she was like, I didn't know math looks like this. So, and she again from a very rural community in Himachal Pradesh. So these were some of our students. Again here, as I said, every other month there is a team that visits Nari Gunjan and works with them. So here, this girl, this young lady here is Simran. She's an Aavishkaar fellow. She joined us last year. So fellowship is a year long. Her specialization is international relations. She has studied from King's College London. She joined us for fellowship. And here she is, 6 months later, working with teachers of Nari Gunjan so that they can change the way they are teaching mathematics and help the kids. So this is what she is doing, is taking a teacher's training program. Again, this is our team in Assam. This one is through South Minneapolis Rotary. This is the teachers of Tribal Welfare Department in Telangana, where they are working on developing patterns and predicting patterns. So this was again 3 to 4 day workshops every 3 months. Again, they are here, they are working on building shapes. These teachers, their intent is to teach. But what we need is, rather than rote memorizing, we need that kids should be able to understand, which is not happening. So here I had given them an exercise in which I had given them a thread, closed loop thread, and they had to make, in this case, they have made an octahedron. They were supposed to make a cube, just understanding geometry. So this is what you see them doing in the middle. Again, this is Teach for India. So we also conduct programs where people from, any teacher can join us and sign up, which we do open programs like 4 times a year. So these are some of those teachers who have come. So the work has really expanded. We are in many places, but the team is about 14, 15 people, and that includes the fellows. So these are our Aavishkaar fellows. Right now we have 8 of them plus 1 staff member. They have all of them from very different backgrounds, but with this common mission that they want to create a change in education, a 1-year program. And 2 years ago, our club here supported in us figuring out what should this fellowship look like. And this is the 2nd year. We have just got some new fellows. And because we have been here 5 years, we have had alumni also. And the beautiful part about this, our alumni is those who leave don't leave because they don't want to work in education. They want to work deeply in education. So this guy is Vikram, joined us 5 years ago, worked with us for 3 years, and has started now his own organization. And he is very fascinated about the nature around us. So now at my village is Kandabadi. So now what we have is a Kandabadi, in the village, a Kandabadi Natural History Museum. So he and Apurva, they work on it together. And recently they have been awarded a National Geographic grant. So we have been able to create an ecosystem of science and math education in our village itself. His picture hasn't come very clear. Bharat, he had been with us for 4 years, and recently he has gone independent. So he's traveling to particular communities and working on developing math curriculum for specific schools depending on their context. And I already talked about Apurva. She is going to Finland for her further studies for the math program. This is the team that worked with us directly. But we run year-long programs in which we are working with various organizations. And because we have been working, what has happened is, what we hear from the organizations is, some teachers or educators are coming out of their organizations and are starting their own independent ventures. Many of them have understood the value of making science and math education experiential. So already 2 of them have spun off their own independent enterprise to be able to develop material for science and math education. So, you know, how you support something, that organization forms, the organization has their own dreams, and people latch onto that dream, and then this effort really multiplies. And I am in this privileged position to be able to see that. And I very proudly say that in my 10 years, I have been involved with 5 different organizations and their birth. 1 that I started before doing Aavishkaar, 1 Aavishkaar, and 3 that have spun off from Aavishkaar itself. So very, very, very privileged. And many organizations have joined in one way or the other. Rotary has been the home of starting all this. Wipro is an interesting organization. Its founder is Azim Premji, who is very dedicated to education. And I would say he is probably the Bill Gates of India. And he has started supporting Aavishkaar's work. Teach for India, this is an organization that is similar to Teach for America, but has learned a lot from Teach for America. So I would say more fine-tuned. We work with them in 3 different cities. Asha for Education is an organization that is here in US, started by students who have picked up on Aavishkaar, and it's Purdue University chapter, Purdue University and San Diego chapter. Both of them support this program, elements of this program, because as you see it has expanded. That always means more money, right? And you have to always figure out where to get it from. Then Malala Foundation, they are supporting our fellows as we speak for this program. And then Bharti Foundation, these are all, this is another company that supports our different programs. And Earthjust is another organization that, so in all this, we always try to build an element of sustainability. And this company, because we can't really, the more you throw, the more trouble you'll get into. So we work a lot on that, and Earthjust joins us in that. And then there is organization in University of California. the Science Corps. What they do is they take students who have finished their PhD in University of California system, because all of them have come from there. It could be probably anywhere in US. What they do is they take those PhD graduates and place them in the third world countries to see how education looks at the grassroots level. So last year we had one guy who came and worked with us for 6 months, and this year we are getting one PhD in chemistry and one in life sciences. Both of them would be joining us after I go. And they also help us develop the content, because we are generally, in our group, we have maths, physics, chemistry. So they would hopefully fill our life sciences gap. So, many different organizations are coming together to make the dream come true. So, thank you. Okay. Any questions at this time? Yeah.
Well, first of all, Sandhya, wow. I mean, just wow. You mentioned being in the privileged position of watching dreams multiply. I mean, we're sitting here in the privileged position of watching your dreams multiply. In just the, 6 years since we were in India, Don and Bob and I, this is just amazing. The reach that you've been able to have, and the programs that you've spawned, and it's just absolutely incredible. I had a question and an observation about one of the photos that you had, and it really struck me. It was the one of the Nari Gunjan students with the Himachal students.
Yeah.
All together. Pretty significant. And could you talk a little bit about that, about having those two groups actually learning together? And you mentioned a little bit about learning each other's cultures. But I mean, pretty significant when you see those two groups together.
Yeah. Nari Gunjan girls are very confident. Our Himachal kids are not that confident. Because probably they still live at home, where boys are treated better than girls. And with Nari Gunjan girls, we have worked a lot on feminism.
But this is a group that is part of the untouchable community.
Yes. And you should see them. When they stand up and they talk, people listen. When they sing, there is pin drop silence. So actually they have a lot to give. And whenever I get a chance, I make sure if they come, they would travel to different organizations, they would travel to different schools. And I don't tell that these are girls from the Musar community. When everything happens, after that I may tell. You have to see the power of their voices. It is absolutely amazing. This is nothing. When we do camps, our student camps, where anybody is welcome to join. If you have money, you have to pay. If you don't have money, you'll get scholarship. So we have kids who fly in from families like this, and kids who can't afford from families like this. So for every 5 kids, we will have 1 counselor. And we would have studied the student profile ahead of time, and we distribute in a way that different economic statuses, different religions, different geographies, they all come together and get represented in every group. So there is conflict bound to happen. But thankfully, the design of the program and the task has to be such that it is accessible to anybody. The distance they will take it might be different. But everybody should feel that I can get into the task that I'm doing. So in first day of the program, one person would be talking only in English, which is supposed to be the language of the upper class. And the others would be trying to do that, not fully knowing that they won't be able to cope up. One would be throwing all the knowledge that they have learned, and the other would be keeping quiet. But you should see the shift 6 days later. They have become best of friends. They are hugging each other. I mean, it's just phenomenal every time I see it. And it's only 6 days, and the end of 6 days, when they leave, they're literally crying. They form those lifelong bonds. And we make their special groups in which they can keep having the conversation, and we keep checking on them. I wish we could do more of it, but right now we are just limited. Yeah.
Sandhya, welcome back. And for the benefit of our guests and our newer Rotarians, could you give your own background here in this country and what prompted you to spend 6 months out of the year, you and your family, in India?
Actually, 10 months, yeah. Yeah. 2 minutes, okay. So, I grew up in a small town, India. The best way to describe it, my community would be, I was the first girl to ride a bicycle. I was the first girl in my town to study engineering. So it was very easy to find my home in the town I was in. And then I wanted to make a lot of money, so I ended up in US. I did my PhD in electrical engineering, got a very cushy job, made so much money that I didn't know what to do with it because I am just way too frugal. And then a daughter came along, and my desire to be out of this 9-to-5 job and to make the dream of so many other girls come alive made me make this switch, and we moved to India and just keep playing with new dreams that come along the way. And now I most enjoy making other dreams come true, because just there is no better way to have fun in life. Really enjoy that, yeah.
Do you have a lot of resistance from people who are tied into the system of rote memorization? I mean, I assume there's an education bureaucracy that is tied into that system that must question what you're doing, or do your students do the rote memorization and then this on top of it, or how does that work?
See, there might be there, but I don't see it.
Okay.
My job is to design a classroom experience where everybody would get engaged. And once I have done that, it does not matter. I could do it with you guys also. Because the aim is to create a joyful experience. So there might be resistance, but it's their job. That is why they are there, and that is why I'm here. So, thank you so much.